There's no position on the football field more important than the quarterback. Rivalries between teams are always intense and special, but so are those rivalries between elite quarterbacks. Football fans for so long were blessed with the opportunity to watch Tom Brady and Peyton Manning square off 17 times over the course of 14 seasons, including 5 times in the playoffs. 4 of those 5 meetings were in the AFC Championship game. Brady and Manning are arguably the 2 best to ever play the position, and it's hard to imagine we would ever see a rivalry quite like the one they shared. But we might just have it. On Sunday, the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs will square off in the divisional round of the playoffs for the second time in the last 3 seasons. It'll be the 7th meeting between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Make no mistake about it, while it might not be Manning-Brady level yet, it is the best quarterback rivalry since, and one that every time they meet is must-watch TV. There are plenty of great quarterback rivalries between future Hall of Famers that we've seen recently, but when you combine just how good Allen and Mahomes have been and how remarkable their matchups have been, nobody tops them. If Patrick Mahomes retired today, he would probably be a top 10 quarterback to ever play the position. He's the NFL's all-time leader in passer rating and passing yards per game. He also ranks number 1 all-time in touchdowns per game with 2.5. But right behind him is Josh Allen, who ranks second in NFL history with 2.4 touchdowns per game. In fact, he's already surpassed Mahomes for touchdowns through a quarterback's first 6 seasons with 209. Since 2020, there hasn't been another quarterback who's put up production close to Allen or Mahomes. They rank 1-2 in quarterback wins, touchdowns, and yards in that span by a country mile. For quarterback wins, Mahomes is 2 ahead of Allen with 50. The next closest is Lamar Jackson with 39. Passing and rushing touchdowns since 2020, Allen ranks first with 174. Mahomes shortly behind him with 151. The next closest is Justin Herbert with 125. And then passing and rushing yards, Mahomes and Allen just neck and neck, but almost 2,000 total yards ahead of Justin Herbert. For hardware, Mahomes definitely has the edge. He's got 2 MVPs to his name already, while Allen has yet to win the award, but he's twice finished in the top 3 in voting and should add a 3rd this season. I think what makes their rivalry unique is how epic each of those head-to-head matchups have been. In their first 6 meetings, they've combined for 30 touchdowns and 3,945 total yards. It's especially unique for 2 teams in different divisions to meet as often as they do. In fact, only 4 other notable quarterback rivalries from separate divisions met as much in this short of a time span as Allen and Mahomes have. Those rivalries are Cam Newton and Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Joe Flacco, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre, Troy Aikman. So does this quarterback rivalry compare to Brady Manning? Comparing anyone to Tom Brady or Peyton Manning is almost cruel, seeing as again they're 2 of the best, if not the 2 best, to ever do it. Brady holds the all-time record between the 2 at 11-6. Brady was 8-4 against Manning and the Colts, and 3-2 against Manning and the Broncos. However, those 2 wins for Manning were in the 2013 and 2015 AFC Championship games, and in their meetings in the playoffs, Manning has the slight edge at 3-2. Their regular season rivalry was fantastic, but the fact that 4 of their 5 playoff meetings came in the AFC Championship game is remarkable. And Manning grabbed 3 out of the 4. When you dive deeper, 4 of those 5 times they met in the playoffs, the winner of that game went on to win the Super Bowl. Brady doing so in 03 and 04 with the Patriots, and Manning in 06 with the Colts, and 2015 with the Broncos. The only one they didn't win was when Manning lost in the Super Bowl in 2013. It just goes to show how dominant those 2 were throughout their careers. So how does that Allen-Mahomes rivalry stack up? So far, the rivalry's dead even at face value. The record stands at 3-3 through the quarterback's first 6 meetings, but everyone, including the Buffalo Bills organization, would agree that the Chiefs have the edge. Why? Because 2 of those Chiefs wins were ones that knocked the Bills out of the playoffs. Once in the AFC Championship game in 2020, and then the 2021 divisional round in a game widely considered one of the best playoff games of all time. It was a game where the Bills and Chiefs combined for 31 points after the 2-minute warning in the 4th quarter. That's the most in NFL history. It's the only game in NFL history, not just the playoffs, where both quarterbacks had 300 plus passing yards, 50 plus rushing yards, 0 interceptions, and 3 passing touchdowns. Mahomes threw for 378 yards, had 3 touchdowns, and 69 rushing yards, while Allen threw for 329 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 68 rushing yards. It's arguably the best game a quarterback has ever played and not won that game. The two combined for 4 go-ahead touchdowns after the 2-minute warning and went 15 for 20 and 290 yards combined. In the end, of course, Mahomes led the overtime forcing drive with only 13 seconds left on the clock, then drove the length of the field for a touchdown to end the game in overtime. In 9 playoff games, Allen has 3,028 total yards, 23 total touchdowns, and a 101.6 QBR. Meanwhile, Mahomes has statistically been one of the best playoff quarterbacks of all time. In 15 games, he has 4,770 total yards, 41 total touchdowns, and a 105.7 QBR. But most importantly, he has 2 Super Bowl rings. It's the first meeting between the two teams since Week 14 when the Bills squeaked out a win in controversial fashion, as Kadarius Toney was of course flagged for being offsides, nullifying Travis Kelce's remarkable touchdown improvisation and sparking a never-before-seen outburst from Mahomes. The end result of that game ended up being the reason this 7th matchup between these two quarterbacks is at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo rather than Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. This will be Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game, not including neutral site Super Bowls, and the first time he's played in Buffalo since 2020, when they played in front of 0 fans due to COVID. Sunday's game is quite possibly the most important game in Buffalo Bills history since their last Super Bowl appearance in 1993, and it's the biggest game so far in the career of Josh Allen. Regardless of whether you think this is the best rivalry going right now, or if it'll ever challenge Brady Manning, it's sure to be another exciting chapter in what's been an epic story between the two best quarterbacks in the National Football League.